Hey folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. I'm so glad you could be with us today. What we're talking about today, we're going to cover several topics actually, but we're going to start out with mistakes that people make when they're eating well. People come to me all the time and say, Dr. Joe, I want to change my diet, and this is what I've done, and I eat really well. And then I look at what they're doing, and I'll say, well, I don't want to tell you you're not eating well, but there's a couple of things we probably want to tweak a little bit. So I never accuse a patient or a listener of anything wrong. I just want to let you know that you might have been a little misled there. But before I do that, I want to start with an article that came out this week in the Telegraph, which is from England. And the title was Vitamin D Delivered to Millions of Vulnerable People to Help Protect from COVID. So what the article basically says is that they're shipping out this mass doses of vitamin D to people in England because we're realizing that people with normal vitamin D levels and higher vitamin D levels actually than we even recommended have a much better chance of not getting COVID, or if they do get it, just having very few symptoms. So once again, when this whole mess started with COVID, I talked about vitamin D and glutathione and vitamin C as the three things you have to have in your diet to get the best capability of fighting off disease, specifically COVID, but all diseases. So I talked about that way back then, and periodically I've popped up and mentioned it again in shows and lectures and video television. And here it is again. Now England is actually making it a government policy. We're going to start getting vitamin D out to people because we realize that myself and other researchers like myself were right. So vitamin D is the cheapest, I always say it's the cheapest insurance policy you'll ever buy. I take 5 drops of Dr. Joe's vitamin D3 with K2, it's all in the same bottle, and I take 5 drops a day. I couldn't imagine not taking 5 drops a day. Now, when I got my blood work done, 60 to 80 is where I want you to be, 60 nanograms per milliliter. I want you to be at that level. Mine was 58. So I was right where I wanted to be, but I upped my dose just a little bit for a couple of weeks, and now I'm back to my 5 drops again. So even me, who eats a really good diet and gets out in the sun a lot, my vitamin D was still just, again, 2 points. It's not significant, but it was even a little low. So it's really important if you're not doing vitamin D, I would strongly advise you consider that as part of your protocol because it's real simple, it's real easy, it's 5 drops, it's inexpensive, there's no reason why you shouldn't be doing it, and England is now proving me right. So today's topics, we got a couple of topics we're going to cover today. But let's start out by talking about mistakes you make when you think you're eating healthy. Now, many people say, Dr. Joe, I can't imagine living like you. And I get that question, that statement every day. I can't imagine being like you. That's too much work. I can't commit to that. Absolutely no commitment whatsoever. What I'm asking you to do when it comes to nutrition is to not do something. I can't make it any easier. I'm actually telling you to not do things. So how much better can it be to do nothing? So people think that all the time. If you're living on string cheese and pizza and hot dogs and grilled chicken and as much steak as you can possibly get your hands on, you think I could never eat different than that. You can. Because no matter how bad somebody's diet is, they are doing something right. And so what I'll tell people is, all right, well, I won't eat vegetables. I hear that one. I won't eat vegetables, Dr. Joe. I'm not going to do that. Okay, what vegetables do you like? Well, I'll eat broccoli, I'll eat green beans, I'll eat peas, or whatever your vegetable of choices are. I'll say, okay, let's start there. Let's make a list of all the things you will eat. Okay, well, I'll eat celery, but I won't eat lettuce, but I'll have onion. And all right, let's make a list. So every day I want you to have one thing off this list. Oh, I could do that because I like those things already. Then we're going to talk about a little bit more about adding things, variety into your diet. And then you try something new and you say, I don't like that. I don't like asparagus, artichokes, whatever it is. Okay, great. You don't have to eat that. People say, I had tried tofu once and I didn't like it, so I could never not eat meat. Well, wait a minute. You've gone on dates before you didn't like the person. You didn't stop dating. We're going to have times in our lives we don't like something. And so if you don't like something, well, just don't do it. Go on to something else. And so that's the point I want to make. It's easy to make these changes, and you don't have to be perfect. I remember years ago I had an IT guy, and he was listening to one of our shows, and he said, you said something today you never said before. And I said, what was that? He said, you said you don't have to do everything at once. He says, people don't realize you don't have to do everything at once to get well. And I said, that's a good point. So I said, you don't have to do everything at once. But you're going to hit speed bumps along the way. You don't have to worry about that. Dr. Joe, I broke down. It was my birthday. I had a steak and I had pizza or whatever it was. I always say, how'd you feel? They say, awful. I said, good. I'm glad you felt awful because I proved to you that I was right. They go, oh, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. Just get back on the wagon again. If you fall off the wagon, just get back on. It's no big deal. Another things that people do is when they maybe, let's say they go vegan or they go vegetarian. If they don't have enough variety in their diet, they're going to eat the pizza, they're going to eat the vegan hot dogs and the hamburgers that are made out of, whatever, soybeans. You need to shake it up a little bit. Pasta becomes real popular when people give up meats. They say, I'm going to eat pasta every night. That's not a good idea because pasta is made with wheat. Well, there's a lot of different pastas, but if you're eating wheat pasta, not a good idea because wheat is high in gluten, and gluten is just evil when it comes to people's health care. It affects their colon. It affects your sinuses. It's a number 2 food allergen. Dairy's number 1. Wheat's number 2. And so people come to me all the time and say, Dr. Joe, my nose is always runny. I'm always sick all the time. I'm coughing up phlegm. Could be you have a hiatal hernia. The stomach could be pushing up against the diaphragm. And my doctors are well trained in fixing that. In most cases, we can pull the stomach away from the diaphragm. And then we get them off wheat and dairy, and people think that we're gods. Oh, my God, you're amazing. My sinuses aren't clogged anymore. I'm not congested anymore. My breath is fresh again. Oh, my gosh, you're amazing. No, we're just smart. And all you got to do is these really simple things like that. So just start adding variety. And again, what you do then is you say, okay, I'm giving up meat or dairy or whatever it is, which I hope you do. And I say, make a list of foods you will eat. And this is a little trick I teach to parents as well. My kid won't change their diet. And kids are tough. Teenagers are tougher, actually. And you say, I don't know what to do about that. I say, okay, make a list of the foods your child will eat. Well, they'll eat tacos. Okay? Put tacos on the list. We'll do bean tacos, not beef tacos. Okay, good, we can do that. They like guacamole. Okay, put guacamole on the list. Great. They don't like tomatoes. Well, don't put tomatoes on the list. Just start thinking of what you can eat, not so much what you can eat. And don't be so obsessed with protein. Garrett and I laugh all the time whenever we do shows, whenever we do lectures, whenever we do TV spots. The question always comes up, where do you get your protein? Go to our website, drjoe, drjoe.com. Garrett's laughing there behind the camera. drjoe.com. We have over 1,500 hours of podcasts, and one of them we did was just type in protein. Listen to the show we did on protein. I will dispel that myth that you need more protein in your diet. You don't need more, you need less. Most people need less. You only need about 8 to 10% of your total caloric intake is protein. A steak is about 17%. So if you're going to eat a piece of animal flesh, that extra protein has to be broken down, processed, and taken out of the body. And that happens through the liver and the kidneys. And if you eat a lot of meat, that clogs up or damages the liver and the kidneys in many cases, and that could cause serious problems long term. So it's not just the meat and the cholesterol and the steroids and the hormones and chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, genetically modified food, and glyphosate that's in most commercial meat. It's also the fact that your body has to break it down and process it out. Because then I'll get, what about deer? What if I hunt my own animals? What if I do grass-fed? If you're going to do animal products, and I wish you wouldn't, but if you're going to do animal products, organic only. The word organic is the only word that matters. Okay, so organic meats and dairy products and eggs, anything animal, I would prefer you don't do it at all, though. Okay, but again, baby steps if we have to. Many people, when they switch their diets, they start switching to these substitutes. Dr. Joe, I want cheese substitutes. I want meat substitutes. I want hamburger substitutes. Even the big chains now are coming out. We see the one is Impossible Burger. One of them is Beyond Burger. And I just heard one with Golden Arches is going to come out with their own. It's called McPlant. And they're not going to use another manufacturer. They're going to actually manufacture their own. So, think about this. When you see big companies like this switching their menu, a menu that's tried and true and it's working and they're making money hand over fist, and they're going to change their menu, you got to know that this is the direction the world is going. And I'm real excited about that. I've tried the veggie burgers at these restaurants. They're okay. But I'm just excited that the mentality is there. And I feel like after, 3-4 decades of getting the message out, finally myself and people like me have gotten across to say, yes, this is the way to go. And it's not weird anymore. You don't eat meat anymore. It used to be weird when I went vegan many, many years ago. Now it's like, oh, yeah, cool. Here's the vegan options on the menu. What would you like? You go to restaurants, Thai restaurants, Chinese restaurants, even Italian restaurants. This is the vegan choices we have now. Mexican restaurants. So I'm really excited that that's happening. But don't go crazy with these processed meats and dairy products. A little bit, yeah, what the heck, I don't mind. But too much of it is dangerous because it is processed. It's still hard on the body. And again, the goal I have, and hopefully you have too, is to get as well as possible, as quickly as possible. So if you're throwing a lot of this junk down in your diet, even though it's vegan, it's still junk. Okay, so you got to be careful with that. So don't eat too many substitutes. People always ask me, they don't know what to eat. The first book I ever wrote was called Eating Right for the Health of It. It's on the website, drjoe.com. And on there, the first half of the book tells you how to change your diet. And the second half of the book is well over 200 recipes. Everything you can get in any grocery store. It's easy, it's quick, it's really, really inexpensive. And once people start getting into this lifestyle, they go, oh my God, this is amazing. I feel great. I'm saving money. I have more energy. I'm going to the bathroom better. My love life improves. My brain is working better. There's no downside to getting well. There really isn't. And I talk to people all the time. In fact, I was talking to a very dear friend of mine, and she said too, she says, I don't crave sugar anymore. And patients tell me that all the time. They say, I just don't crave sugar once I've changed my diet. If I do have something, it's too sweet. Because you've bombarded yourself with not only sugar, but high fructose corn syrup and artificial sweeteners, which are way sweeter than regular sugar, and your body just becomes immune to sugar then. I can't take this anymore. I've got too much sugar, and your body says, I want more, I want more, I want more. Now that you've weaned off it, when you do go back to these things like high fructose corn syrup, which, by the way, is way sweeter than regular sugar, your body can't handle it. And I'm very, very happy that that's happening, and that you can make better choices. So, and we also did a great show on addiction. You might want to go to the website, drjoe.com, and listen to that, and listen to the show we did on addiction, because it talks about the neurophysiology of what addiction is, how the brain is affected, and then the steps you can take to essentially reboot your brain, which is kind of cool. The other thing I find is when people start taking supplements, they're able to make better choices. Because many times, if you've had a bad diet, your body is just deprived of nutrients. Excuse me, and it just can't, there you go, it just can't work like it's supposed to. And so when we start replacing a lot of those nutrients, the brain and the body start to work normally again, and those cravings go away. Because the body is designed to function at a very high level, and when it starts to crash, you put this junk food in there to try to artificially stimulate it and jumpstart it. And then we talked about addiction and how it affects the brain, and you want more junk food. So the two supplements I recommend for everybody, minimum supplements, would be Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. They're two powders. They taste great. I can't imagine a day going by without Super Greens and Essential Source. If I travel, I take it with me. You can put it, it's in a plastic container. Or you can put it in a plastic bag if you want to. They're green powders, so you don't have to worry about anybody suspecting anything weird. I've never, ever, ever had any problems whatsoever, whether it's an airline or if it's a cruise. I've never had a problem. It goes right through security. It's never a big deal. But when you travel, more importantly, is when you need your supplements. Make sure your immune system is strong. But when people take Super Greens and Essential Source, they oftentimes say, Dr. Joe, my cravings are gone. I'm eating less food. I feel better. I'm losing weight. Had a young lady come in yesterday, and she told me exactly that. She said, I have lost like 22 pounds in like a month and a half, and I haven't really done anything different, but I'm taking the supplements, so I find I'm eating less, and I'm losing weight. So she was really excited about that. Now, we do have a doctor-supervised weight loss program that we can put you on if you want to do that as a jump start, but many times the supplements work really well. So anyway, those supplements, Super Greens and Essential Source, are on the website, drjoe.com, and you can order them right online, or you can pick them up at our offices. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb in the Atlanta area. We would love to have you come by and say hi. And then the benefit to you is you save shipping costs. And I'm more than happy to cut costs anywhere we can. In fact, we're going to have to raise the price on them in the next couple of weeks on all our supplements because manufacturing prices have gone up, and we can't continue to keep doing that. So you will see a slight increase in your supplements in the next couple of weeks. So sorry about that. Nothing I can do about it. So the supplements are online, drjoe.com. And the website, again, has over 1,500 hours of podcasts. So if you're liking this, if this is something you enjoy, go to the website, drjoe.com, 1,500 hours, audio and video, absolutely free. It's my gift to you. Look up different topics, listen to different shows that we've done. We have audio, we have video, whatever works best for you. We want to be your doctors. And again, if you have a healthcare issue, we'd love you to come see us. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. So whether it's neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, digestive issues, degenerative arthritis, we now have a medical division where we have patients can be treated for erectile dysfunction, women with weak bladder, even hair growth stimulation, non-surgical facials, PRP, which is a lot of the things we use PRP for a lot of these things. If you have knee arthritis, shoulder arthritis, spinal arthritis, folks, I think you'd be silly and you'd be wrong not to consider a PRP consultation. It's relatively inexpensive, and we take blood out of you and take out the growth factors, the platelets, and re-inject it back into the body. And when we do that, that stimulates the body's healing process. And so if you have arthritis, if you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, digestive issues, nutrition issues, chances are you're suffering needlessly. And the biggest complaint I get is, why didn't I do this sooner? Why have I waited so long to get well? We want to get you well and keep you well. You can get more information on the website, drjoe.com. You can book an appointment right there, as a matter of fact. A lot of people, when they switch to eating healthy, and that's what we're talking about today. I've got so many topics, I'm not going to cover all of them, obviously. They think they're eating well. Well, you know what, Dr. Joe, I've given up meat. I've given up dairy products. I've listened to you. Gosh, I feel so much better. And then I look at their diet, and they're eating things like the long sleeves of chocolate cream cookies that are what we call accidentally vegan. Didn't mean to be vegan. They just don't have any animal products in them. If you think that's going to help, maybe you're eating chips. Well, chips are vegan too. If you think that's going to be healthy, you're wrong. You got to start thinking about it. You're kidding yourself. I'd love to eat chips every day. I love chips. Who doesn't love chips? Everybody loves chips. There's different types of chips. You're still going to gain weight. You're going to feel bloated. You're going to feel awful. The body is not going to function properly because, again, we're not getting the nutrients that our body needs. And 30 years ago, 20 years ago, we didn't have to worry about things like steroids and hormones and chemicals and pesticides and genetically modified food. And now we do. So it's a very different world today than it was, 20, 30 years ago. And that's why it's so important that you supplement your diet. And that's what a supplement is. It supplements your diet. It's not instead of a good diet. It's in addition to a good diet. Because people say, well, Dr. Joe, I take your super greens and essential source, your vitamin D, your B complex, your digestive enzymes, your glutathione, like you told me, for my immune system, and then I go out and have a horrible diet. Yeah, but I'm taking supplements. They're going in the right direction, but it's not solving the problem. So I'm not unhappy you're doing the supplements, please understand, but I want you to understand there's a lot more to it. And as a chiropractor, when patients have pain, when they come see us, so often they start to see results relatively quickly. And one of the biggest problems, and just chatting now, one of the biggest problems we have with patients is they start to feel better. They start to feel better, and their first instinct is, you know what? I don't need to continue my treatment. You guys are awesome. I've had this neck pain, back pain, headaches, leg pain, whatever it is, for decades. You guys fixed me. No, we didn't fix you. We got you out of pain. That's step one in the treatment plan. Step two is when you're feeling better, to stabilize the spine. And I know it's human nature to say, I feel great, I don't need to go there. It's a mistake. Because chances are the problem's going to creep back in again, and then you're going to say, well, A, I'm going to listen to Dr. Joe this time, or B, it didn't work. I only got temporary relief. Well, you only went for a temporary amount of time. And I see that all the time. I've been doing this a long time now. And every single day we reactivate patients. And patients come back in and they say, you know what, Dr. Joe, you were right. So don't make that mistake that other people, it takes longer, it costs more money. Don't make that mistake. Just do what we say the first time. It's only a few weeks worth of care in most cases. And most people are extremely happy that they came to see us. And not only them, but they'll send their husbands, wives, children, relatives, friends, coworkers. Had a lady come in the other day and she showed me her phone, and it was a car flipped over. I said, oh my God, this happened to you? She goes, no, it's one of my coworkers, and I'm begging him to come see you, and he keeps saying he doesn't have time. Okay. I said, he's going to make the time. Trust me. A couple of days later, I walk in and go, yeah, well, Joan referred me in. And I said, oh, you were the guy in the car accident that flipped. He says, yeah. I said, I thought you didn't have time to come see us. He goes, no, now I've made time. The trauma has made me make time. So don't be silly. Just come in and see us. We'd love to see you. Anyway, I digress. Some people think that if they're going to change their diet, that they're going to have to give up things like desserts. Oh, I love desserts. I love sweets. I love baked goods. There are healthier cookies and cakes and donuts and pastas and ice cream. Doesn't mean it's good for you. It means it's not as bad for you. But in my book, we talked about that earlier, Eating Right for the Health of It, we actually have a chapter on desserts. And you can make healthy desserts. You can make raw desserts. And if you listen to my show before, you know I talk about raw food. Raw food has something in it called enzymes. And enzymes I did a whole show on enzymes actually. Enzymes are the missing link in healthcare. Without enzymes, nothing else works. So the enzymes are the things that do the healing, that facilitate the molecules coming together to grow new tissue and grow new discs and bones and joints. So without the enzymes, nothing else matters. So that's why I want you to eat something raw at every meal, because raw food has enzymes in it. Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source, tons of enzymes. Most of the ingredients are raw in there. So we have desserts that you can do that are just spectacular. And once again, remember, when you start cutting back and cutting back the bad foods and changing your diet, your taste buds are going to change. And when they change, you're going to say, now I get it. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was saying how you go through life, and you go through chapters in your life. And I always picture life as like a book, and you keep turning the pages. And you go through these different chapters in your life. And you may have that chapter where you're a rebel teenager. You might want to smoke, or you might want to drink. And then you realize that's not good for me. And then you turn the page. And when you turn the page, go to a different chapter, that's what's going to happen when you change your diet. You're going to have more energy. You're going to feel better. You're going to go out more. You're going to start partying more. You're going to say, I should go for a walk today instead of just sitting around the house. And things change. Your relationships change. Your brain function change. Your love life, your digestive system. And that's when life becomes fun. And then you think, oh my gosh, I remember I could never live without coffee ice cream. Now I don't even think about coffee ice cream or whatever your cheat is there. So it's okay. And again, in my book, Eating Right for the Health of It, we have tons of recipes there as well. And some people think when they change their diet, they become invincible. You know what? I do everything Dr. Joe says. I never have to go to the doctor. I never have to get a checkup. Baby, I'm bulletproof. You're not. Okay? We have a medical division here at our office. And in the medical division, we treat a lot of medical issues. We can balance hormones. Many times as you get older, the hormones start to drop, and we can do a blood work on you, and then we can balance hormones, either through supplements or plant-based bioidentical hormones. And we can try to get things back to the way they were when you were younger. And trust me, things are a lot of fun. Life gets a lot of fun when you start acting like a young kid again. And we're really good at anti-aging in our office. We really want to get in there and reverse or at least heal some of that aging damage that's occurred to you. And when you can turn back time and start to get, the face start to look better with less wrinkles and the digestive system work and the belly flatten out and the love life start to pick up again, it's pretty cool stuff. You could even do PRP, like I said, erectile dysfunction for women if they have bladder leakage or if they have issues because they're getting older. The PRP even works for that in most cases. So it's pretty crazy stuff. Now, if you go to our website, drjoe.com, we have a drop-down column, and it says services. And under there, we list all our services. And so feel free to look things up. If you have questions, you could always send us an email. I'm more than happy to answer them for you. On the website, again, 1,500 hours of podcasts. Feel free to search the website. If you have questions, send us through the website. If you want to make an appointment, it's right there on the homepage, folks. Every day I get messages through the website. I'd like to make an appointment. Right there is a picture of me. Right next to me, it says appointments. Click on that. You can book right online. We have all our offices, Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb listed. So you can pick which office, what time you want to go. If you have questions, you could always call us. We make it as easy as possible to be a patient. And I always say if something isn't as easy as you think it should be, it's never malicious. Might be stupid, but it's never malicious. So we want to help you any way we can to be a patient. We accept most insurances, car accidents, sports injuries. If you've ever been in a car accident, if the car was damaged, you were damaged 100% of the time. No one has ever walked away from a car accident if the car was damaged unscathed. It can't happen because you are not stronger than steel or plastic or whatever it is in your car that got hit and damaged. So that's why we want to see you as quickly as possible. And again, we file your insurance for you. We take Medicare. We do everything we can to make it as easy as possible for you. We have lots of doctors. We have 6 doctors, so we try to speed up the process as quickly as possible for you. So we're talking today about mistakes people make when they think they changed their diet and they're eating better, and they're not. Okay, so when we come back, we're going to have to take a break real soon. One of the issues is you may not be eating enough food. I know you like that. We're going to talk about, again, turning back time a little bit and some other things that you can do to get yourself well. So the website, again, is there 24 hours a day, drjoe.com. If you have questions, drjoe.com. We've just reduced our initial office visit. I'll talk about when we come back. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Tell your friends about the show. We'll be right back. Hey folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. I am so glad you're with us. If you stayed with us, thanks for staying. If you're just joining us, welcome. What we're talking about today is when you think you're eating right or taking care of yourself and you're not. And a lot of you make mistakes. We all do. I mean, I do it too. And I remember years ago when I was first getting into this journey and seeing something called hydrolyzed vegetable protein. And I thought to myself, well, protein is good and vegetables are good. And I don't know what hydrolyzed is. Hydrogen, I guess hydrogen is part of water. I guess that's good. And so I didn't think twice about eating it. Then it turns out when you take proteins, like soy protein, for example, and you do a hydrolyzation, I guess it is, you free up something called glutamic acid. And glutamic acid is the toxic part of monosodium glutamate. And so too much glutamic acid can be dangerous. And so, yeah, I thought I was doing it right. No one ever taught me anything different. Then my research came through, and I went, you know what? That's probably not the best thing for me. So a lot of you are doing things you think are right and it's not, and that's okay. No one ever taught you. A famous guy once said, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." And we're all guilty of it. And so if you didn't know what you're doing, well, that's okay. So that's what we're covering today. If you just tuned in, this show is going to be on our website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com, along with about 1,500 hours of other shows. And so you can catch the whole show there. And a lot of times, and by the way, folks, you're not telling me anything I don't know. Dr. Joe, you talk too fast. I know that. Okay, you're not telling me something I don't know. I do talk fast. I get excited. I got so much to cover, and I only have so much time that when I get into my radio show mode, I just want to give you everything I know all at once, and I'm trying to, download about, 4 decades of information in a few minutes. So I know I talk fast. That's why we put these shows on the website, so you could listen to them again and again and again. You can slow them down if you want to, whatever works best for you. But again, the website's there 24 hours a day, drjoe.com. So sometimes when people change their diets, they go to the other extreme. They went from eating bad foods and eating too much foods, and then they say, "I'm not going to eat anything." And again, the taste buds will change, your brain will change, and you'll eat less food. But sometimes you're not getting enough calories. And also, like if you're eating a salad, for example, you could eat a salad, and it's not a whole lot of calories. You could put, peppers in there and tomatoes and onions if you want to, and lettuces. That's essentially 0 calories right there. And then maybe you throw some beans in there to fill you up. That's some calories. Maybe a salad dressing, some calories. But generally speaking, you're going to be eating less food. You might, if you lose too much weight, then you might want to have to change it around. Start adding things like avocados and nuts, because those are things that are higher in calories and are going to get you filled up again too. So just be careful. If some people, and it's human nature, you go to the extreme, you start realizing, I feel so good, I want to continue this forever. And I want to, if I pushed it this far and I feel good, what if I push it further and push it further? There is a limit to this. And so if you start losing too much weight, again, adding avocados and nuts to your food is a good way to put on weight again. Sometimes you think the clock is reset every time you mess up. It's not true. Dr. Joe, I was doing great for 3 weeks, and then I went out. My friends were having chicken wings, and I had a couple of chicken wings, and I got to start all over again. No, you don't. Okay, it happens. Mistakes happen. I remember one time, oh gosh, where was I? Anyway, I can't remember where I was. And I just loved this one, it was Italian food. Okay, I guess it was at a restaurant. And I said, it's vegan, right? Absolutely vegan. And so every time I went in, yes, it was vegan. Oh, no, it was a Thai restaurant. That's right. And then finally I asked the waitress, I said, I was talking to somebody, and I said, it's really good here, and it's all vegan. And they said, well, it's not vegan. We use chicken broth. So everybody had told me it was vegan up to that point, like 3 or 4 times, and then they said, oh, no, we use chicken broth. Some people don't know the term. Some people don't know what that means. Chicken broth many times is loaded with monosodium glutamate. So, I always say if I don't know, it doesn't count. But if you do cheat, even if you do know, it's okay. Take a breath. It's not the end of the world. Just go back to eating right again. It's not going to kill you because you made this little mistake. One of the things I want you to do as you start changing your diet is I want you to start trying new foods, because so many of us get stuck in a rut. And here's what I've learned after going over thousands of people's diets with them, is I have people write down everything they eat. And what I'll do is I kind of innocently start circling things. And you'll see in whoever it is, about 6, maybe 8 different foods over and over and over again. They have coffee. They have chicken. They have sandwiches. And you see the same foods occurring over and over again. And that's not good, because then you're stuck. You're caught in a trap, as Elvis once said. And we like our foods. I'm in a rut. I get in a rut too. I like my certain foods, and I go my little phases and crazes, and that's fine. But I want you to try different things. Now, what's going to happen is some of them you're going to like. Some of them you're not going to like. It's okay if you don't like something. That's good for you. There's other things that are good for you. Skip it. Move on. Just keep trying new things, with the understanding is you want them to be mainly based in fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. Plant-based if we can. If you start trying new things, you're going to find new things. And you're going to say, oh my gosh, that's my new favorite restaurant. I just tried their blank. I love it. I hear this all the time with my book, Eating Right for the Health of It. Dr. Joe, I tried your almond fettuccine. Oh my gosh, it's the greatest thing in the world. I can't stop eating it. Dr. Joe, I tried your sun-dried tomato basil pesto. Oh my God, where's it been all my life? I have soups in there. I have desserts. I've broken down in, breakfast, lunches, dinner, snacks, desserts, soups, salad dressings. It's real easy, simple stuff. We have it as we can send it as an attachment as well if you want to have it on your computer and not a hard copy. Some people don't have hard copies anymore. We still do. I'll sign it for you. Can't sign a computer, though. They do sell for a lot, though. I thought on eBay, I think one of my books would sell for like $85 and it was signed. And I thought, oh, how about that? I should sign them and sell them myself. So we have recipes on our website, drjoe.com. We did a lecture called So What Can I Eat? You could listen to that. That's no charge. And so now we're trying to break it down and teach you what to do. You say, okay, Dr. Joe, I'm going to make the commitment to eat right. I don't know what else to do. And so we're going to teach you all that. So the book is there. This show is on the website. So What Can I Eat is on the website. We cover this a lot in a lot of our shows. Now, another issue comes up. People come to me and they say, Dr. Joe, I've changed my diet, but I'm afraid I'm not going to get all the nutrition that I need. Have you heard that? If you don't drink milk, you're not going to get calcium. If you don't eat meat, you're not going to get protein. Believe me, folks, I'm so exhausted by people coming to me with what they think is a novel thing. Yeah, where are you going to get protein if you don't eat meat? Ha, 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 ha. Yeah, well, you're just an idiot. You get plenty of protein. Where do cows get their protein from? That's what I always say. I say, where do cows get their protein from? Then I turn around and walk away. So many times people think they're not going to get enough nutrition. Well, when it comes to nutritional deficiencies, people that have a bad diet are way more deficient than people have a good diet. I mean, that's how insane that is. It's like, I'm eating a good diet, I'm going to have deficiencies. I'm eating, double beef hamburgers, I guess that's better for me. No, it's not. So, a couple of supplements I want you to consider, and everybody should be getting in their diet anyway. One of them is B12. Now, if you're a vegan, absolutely positively, you should be supplementing with B12. We have Dr. Joe's Essential Source, which has B12 in it. We have Dr. Joe's B Complex, which I take every day. It has B12 in it. Because we get B vitamins from bacteria eating flesh. Okay, so you eat a piece of meat, the bacteria is eating the flesh, breaking it down, and it spits out B12 and other B vitamins too. They're made from bacteria. And so if you're not eating flesh, you may be B12 deficient. Now, you only need a little bit of B12 in a lifetime. It's not easily absorbed. It's not readily stored. And so you want to get B12. I take it every day. Okay? So if you're eating the right foods, plants, studies have shown you're probably not going to get enough B12 if you're good vegan, if you're eating a good vegan diet. Vegetarians and vegans, higher risk of B12 deficiency. It's the only supplement or nutrient that you have to worry about, and omega-3s, I'll cover that too, that you have to worry about if you're eating a plant-based diet. That's it. You're going to get enough of everything else, along with things like super greens and essential source. You're going to be fine. Okay? So B12 is really important. It helps protein metabolism. It transports oxygen for red blood cells. It helps the nervous system. And again, as a chiropractor and nutritionist, I'm very worried about your nervous system. So B12 is important. B12 is also going to give you a big burst of energy. One of the things we can do for patients with chronic fatigue, we can give them a B12 shot. And boy, it's incredible when you give somebody a B12 shot, how much energy they get. It's like, whoa, this is great. And so many times when people start coming off their coffees or their stimulants, we may need to give them some B12 supplements, and it works great. Too little vitamin B can lead to anemia, nervous system damage, infertility, heart disease. The only scientifically proven way for vegans to get their B12 levels is to take supplements or eat food that's fortified with it. But chances are, if you're taking a super greens and you're taking a B12 supplement, you're going to be fine. There's nothing to worry about there. There are some B12 forms in some seaweeds, but there's still debate on is it a form that the body can use. So just be safe. If you take too much, you're going to pee it out anyway. So it's one of those, again, very inexpensive insurance policies that I recommend you buy, so to speak. As you get older, your B12 is absorbed through the stomach through something called intrinsic factor. Intrinsic factor is produced in the stomach. It latches onto the B12 and absorbs it. As we get older, our intrinsic factor levels drop. So absorption of B12 drops. So something I feel that all senior citizens should be doing, and when I say senior citizens, probably anybody even over 40 or 50, should be taking a B12 supplement. And again, if you take too much, unless you mega dose, you're going to pee it out anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So I take Dr. Joe's Essential Source. I take Dr. Joe's B Complex every day. You're fine there. Another nutrient that we have to get from an outside source unless you're out in the sun a lot is, say it with me, vitamin D. Now, we started the show by saying that England now is distributing vitamin D to people to help prevent COVID. I talked about this way back. I've talked about it for years, before the word COVID even existed. And so vitamin D is vital, especially in the winter months. Now, in the summer, if you're out 10, 15, 20 minutes a day, a couple of times a week, you got your shirt open, you got your short sleeves on and your shorts, chances are you may not need a vitamin D supplement. However, in the winter months, you cannot get enough vitamin D, even if you're out in the sun, because the sun is hitting the earth on an angle. That's why it's winter. And you're not getting enough UVB rays. UVB converts cholesterol into vitamin D through a chain of events. So I strongly advise you take a vitamin D supplement. The only way to really know how much you need is get a blood work. We can do it here in our office. We do something called a micronutrient test. And the micronutrient test tests for a lot of things: oxidative stress, how's your immune system working, vitamin D, a bunch of other nutrients. We have other tests. We can test your hormones as well. So we've got a ton of tests that we can do for you if we need them to find out where you are. But just to be safe, I recommend 5,000 international units of vitamin D every single day. How much is that? 5 drops. That's all it is, 5 drops. You can put it in your Super Greens and Essential Source, which I do. You can put it in your mouth. You can mix it in your food. I don't care how you get here. Just get here. Alita Adams had a song many years ago. I don't care how you get here. Just get here if you can. And so I don't care how you get it in your body. Just get it in your body. But vitamin D, it's got to be vitamin D3, not vitamin D2, because vitamin D2, studies have shown, is not as effective as vitamin D3. That's why many times a doctor may prescribe vitamin D, but they give you vitamin D2 and they give you 50,000 international units to take once a week. A couple of things wrong that I don't like about that. Number one, it's vitamin D2, not my favorite source. Number two is that if you take too much of anything, you can't absorb it properly. I like to spread things out. And that's why 5 drops a day of Dr. Joe's vitamin D, absolute no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. I can't imagine why you wouldn't do it. It's very inexpensive and it works extremely well. And there's just study after study for brain function and sexual function, hormone production, immune system, cancer prevention. I mean, there's so many things that vitamin D does, so there's no reason why you shouldn't be taking it. If you're not taking it, don't say I didn't tell you, okay? Patients come to me all the time and they say, Dr. Joe, I've been listening to you for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, whatever it is. I've read your books, a huge fan of yours. It's a pleasure to meet you. I should have come sooner. And I never said I told you so to anybody, but I think it a lot. Because they say, I heard you talk about, 20 years ago about, neck problems causing headaches or digestive issues causing acid reflux, and that means I don't break down my proteins, which can affect brain function. And so they say, I've heard it all before. I just never did anything about it. So I don't blame anybody. There's no time like now to start getting well, but I really want you to start getting well now. So if you do want to make an appointment to come see us, don't be like so many other patients that say, why didn't I do this sooner? We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. We would love to be your doctors. We have chiropractic, we have medical, we have nutrition, we have digestive issues. On the website, drjoe.com, there's a drop-down that says services. Click on that, drop it down. It explains chiropractic. It explains the PRP that we do, which is great in most cases for arthritis. We use it for erectile dysfunction patients, women that have vaginal issues, if they're leaking bladder, if the vagina just isn't as strong as it used to be. We can do hair restoration with it. We can do non-surgical facials. We have machines that can actually work out your muscles for you, which is amazing. I did about 8 sessions with this one machine, and my stomach's never been flatter, even when I was in high school. It's crazy how good it works. We have machines that can actually help melt away fat. So we have digestive issues. We have supplements, chiropractic care, of course. So we have all the services available. We truly are a wellness center, and we want to get you well and keep you well. For many of the services, we take insurance. If you've ever been in a car accident, if the car was damaged, you were damaged 100% of the time. So as soon as you're in an accident, come see us immediately. Even if it was your fault, you're still hurt. Come see us, and anyone you know in an accident, get them to see us right away. You can book right online, drjoe.com. The initial visit was $375. That was exam, x-rays, consultation, first adjustment, going over the x-rays, and a nutritional evaluation. We've reduced that to $199. It was $149. We had to raise the price, folks. I'm sorry. It's $199 for that first visit. That price will go up again, unfortunately, for you guys. But that's all that we just said, and then we do accept insurance in most cases for treatment after that. If you don't have insurance, we have cash plans available, so it's really easy to be a patient with us. So book your appointments right now, drjoe.com. You can book it right online. You can call us, whatever works best for you. So we're talking today about mistakes people are getting healthy, but then mistakes that they make thinking that they're doing the right thing. Vitamin D is just so huge. We got to be getting that vitamin D if you're elderly, if you have darker skin, if you live in northern latitudes, colder climates, if you don't spend a lot of time outdoors. A friend of mine, his family lives in Haiti, Dominican Republic. And he said he went to visit him, and he said, I want to take some of your vitamin D to my mother. And I said, well, she lives in Dominican. I don't think she needs it. He goes, no, Dr. Joe, you don't understand. We don't go outside. It's too hot. He says, we park our cars in the garage. We get in the car. We put on the air conditioner. We park in parking decks. We go inside. He says, we're hardly ever outside. He said, so we probably get less vitamin D than you do here because you do go out sometimes. I never thought about that. I always thought people in warmer climates, of course, they're getting enough vitamin D. Perhaps not. So, and of course, he's dark-skinned as well. So because he's dark-skinned, he's going to get less vitamin D even if he is out as to somebody who's lighter skinned. So I want to cover omega-3 fatty acids. I said the only two supplements everybody should be taking, well, everybody should be taking all supplements, but the two, vitamin D, of course, we need, and we also have to talk about omega-3 fatty acids. Now, there's three different forms of omega-3s, ALA, DHA, and EPA. ALA you can get from plants. You can get it from flax seeds. You can get it from macadamia nuts, walnuts. ALA is essential means you have to get it from an outside source. So you got to get ALA. ALA converts into DHA and EPA, which are now technically non-essential because your body makes DHA and EPA from ALA. However, the conversion rate is very low. So even if you're eating a good plant-based diet and you're getting your omega-3 fatty acids in the form of ALA, your body has to convert it into DHA and EPA. It's a longer chain. It's an 18 chain is ALA, I think, and 21 is DHA and EPA, if I remember. Anyway, not important. So plants with higher ALA content, things like flax seeds, chia seeds, walnuts, hemp seeds, soybeans, the body can convert it, but in most cases, the conversion isn't as efficient as I'd like it to be. Now, you'll function, but you're not going to thrive. I say you'll survive, not thrive. I want you to thrive. I want to turn back time. I want to reverse the aging process for everybody listening to this show. And we do that by making sure our body, as we get older, we just up some of the supplements that we didn't need as much when we were younger, we take as we're older. I take 1,000 milligrams or 2 capsules of Dr. Joe's algae-based vegan omega-3s. I don't like fish oil as an omega-3 because fish oil oftentimes is contaminated with mercury. And it's not in the proper form. It has to be in a phospholipid form. Krill is in the phospholipid form, another great source of omega-3 fatty acids, but algae is the purest form because krill don't produce omega-3s. Fish don't produce omega-3s. They get it from eating smaller fish, which eat the algae. So I make our algae omega-3 from algae because it's purest form, and you run almost zero risk of contamination with algae oil. So I take that every day. It's on the website, drjoe.com. You probably should too. It helps the immune system. It helps brain function. It helps your skin. It helps the liver. People ask me all the time, say, Dr. Joe, how do you do shows like this, many times without notes for hours at a time? And you have all this scientific data just spewing out of you. My brain works well. And I exercise my brain every day through nutrition, through study, through research, through radio shows, lectures, seeing patients. So my brain is really in good shape. And one of the secrets I use is that I use omega-3 fatty acids. Last week we did a show, and I did a whole section on nitric oxide. And boy, patients got excited about it. So I do want to talk about that as a supplement as well, because nitric oxide does so many different things. It helps hormone development, increases circulation to the brain, the reproductive organs, the digestive system, the muscles. A lot of people use nitric oxide before a workout. They kind of blast themselves. They take 4 Dr. Joe's nitric oxide supplements, and they tell me it's way better than coffee or even steroids. They feel so much better, so much energy. And so I take nitric oxide every day. You probably should too. There was a quote that I gave last week. I can't remember who said it. They said, aging is not the loss of hormones. Aging is the reduction of nitric oxide, because the reduction of nitric oxide then reduces your hormones. So nitric oxide is one of those wonder supplements nobody talks about. Glutathione is another one. It's great for the liver. Dr. Kat, one of my doctors, and I were just talking before the show, and she's seeing research now with autism and getting kids on N-acetylcysteine and glutathione. N-acetylcysteine converts into glutathione. And we have glutathione on our website, drjoe.com, and taking them on a scale of 1 to 10, from a 10 to a 3 in many cases in autism. So again, that's Dr. Kat's quote. I don't know what study she was quoting, but crazy results when you get the liver healthy. And if you drink, if you do even legal drugs, prescription drugs, smoking, coffee, the liver's getting bombarded. Glutathione is this savior to the liver. And so I do recommend that. So my supplement protocols, I take Super Greens and Essential Source, which everybody, minimum supplements you should be taking every day. I take omega-3 fatty acids. I take B-complex. I take Dr. Joe's male hormone support, and that's DHA, and DHA converts into sex hormones, so I take that every day. I take estrogen regulator to prevent my body from producing too much estrogen. I said the glutathione, I think, already. I take digestive enzymes whenever I eat a cooked meal. So I got a handful of supplements that I take every single day. You probably should too. It's probably the best investment in your health you'll ever make. Because if you have to go to a doctor and with $4,000 and $5,000 deductibles, we don't know what the future holds in healthcare. It's unfortunate, but it's crazy. Deductibles, copays, insurance companies just stiffen you. I just saw a commercial the other day for some law firm is suing insurance companies that denied payments. And they had a methodical way to deny these payments. And you, as the little guy, go, I guess I'm not getting paid. There's nothing I can do. But it turns out it was breaking their own contract. And so finally, lawyers are suing insurance companies saying, stop it already. This is ridiculous. You're breaking the law. These people are suffering, many times dying, because the insurance says, I'm not going to pay for it. So I always tell people, listen, if you need care, if you need supplements, if you need chiropractic care, if you need a PRP, if you need medical care, and it's going to change your life and save your life, suck it up and pay it out of pocket. Well, my insurance doesn't cover that. Yeah, and you still need care. That doesn't change the fact you need the care. So I know that's a hard thing to say sometimes, but I can't imagine anything more important than my health. So iodine is another supplement many people don't get enough of. We put it in Super Greens and Essential Source. It is vital for proper thyroid function. If you have fatigue, if you're gaining weight, if you're sluggish, if you can't lose weight, if you're bloated, hair is falling out, these can all be signs of thyroid deficiency. I did a show on thyroid. It's on the website, drjoe.com. Just type in thyroid, listen to the show. But you have to get iodine in your diet. And the only sources really of iodine in our society are seafood, which I don't recommend you eat because it's many times loaded with toxicity, iodized salt, which you shouldn't be eating the salt to begin with, and then, of course, Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source, which is absolutely a no-brainer. Everybody should be taking that too. So I'm just about out of time. Gosh, I got so much more to cover. I'll probably cover it next week. What we talked about today is mistakes people make when they think they're healthy, but they're not. And you could listen to the show on our website along with 1,500 hours of others, drjoe.com. If you want to make an appointment, if I finally convinced you that your health is important, if you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, if you've ever been in a car accident, digestive issues, arthritis, stop suffering. Go to the website, drjoe.com. We have a drop down. It says services. You can see all the services we offer. Make an appointment now. The initial chiropractic visit was $375. We've reduced it now to $199. We'd love to be your doctors. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, first adjustment, going over the x-rays, and a complete nutrition evaluation. Nutrition evaluation alone is $150. So if you want to do it right now on the website, drjoe.com. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Thank you so much. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Dr. Joe Esposito. We'll catch you next time.